Word. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, like you said, man, the consistency though, man. Consistency. I'm trying to be consistent, man. Word. I think we about to go live on YouTube right now, though.
Yeah, I had you know, I did some work with Stick from Dead Prez, and he's the guy that taught me how important consistency is. Like in having conversations with him, you know, I realized that consistency is really the most important key. It's more important than impact and power, anything. Consistency. Yeah. And you've been consistent, so it's definitely noticed.
Definitely, man. Salute to you for noticing that, my brother.
Yeah.
Word. Word. So I'm just gonna mute you real quick and just bring you in, man. You know. All right.
Walk aware, you know what I mean? Shout out to April.
Word. All right, so let me mute you real quick and bring you in, brother, man. Yeah. Shout out to everybody on IG right now. Everybody that's on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the GNU Show. Shout out to Marley Marl since '86. Shout out to Abdul Samad. Shout out to Undefeated 5. And yeah, go my good brother GNU with the preview and do Sadan. All right. Shout out to Abdul Samad in the building. Yeah. Shout out to the podcast nobody listens to. Thank y'all for joining. Yeah. So tonight we have a special guest that we're going to bring in. My Morgan family. At one time, he was my partner in rhyme. And yeah, I call him the Brooklyn ambassador. He's one of the Brooklyn ambassadors, you know what I mean? He's a like we were talking the other day, he's a connector, you know what I mean? He's an author, he's a father, he's also a New York City Marathon veteran, you know what I mean? And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who I'm talking about my man, Marlin Rice. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my man, Marlin Rice. Let me unmute the mic right here.
We over.
Dude, what's good, my brother?
On? Everything. What's good, brother?
I'm good, man. Glad you could make it on the platform, man. And glad you could be here tonight with us. It's been a long time coming. You know what I mean? But once again, I want to welcome you to the GNU Show, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the look. You know, like you said, it is a long time coming, man. I'm glad that we're here now, though. Here you go, baby boy.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Like I see, I said you was a father, man. I see you handling your fatherly duties right now. Shout out to C-Rock that just joined. Shout out to T Nitty on the moderation. And yeah, man, you know, without further ado, we just gonna get into it, man. So
my kids are literally right on the side. They're on the couch right there. My daughter got my iPhone, my son got the iPad. And hopefully they'll be patient with us while we connect. What's good though, Dreddy?
So I'm good, man. Glad you could be here, man. Glad to talk to you, man. Like I said, I haven't seen you physically since your last Feel Good Friday event up in BK. And yeah, man. And but like I said, we go back, you know what I mean, 30 years, you know what I mean, 30 years about it.
Don't feel like it, right? But it's 30 years.
It does not, man. Actually, at homecoming recently, I ran into I was talking to Sherrod, and he reminded me how I met y'all, man. I totally forgot that he was the connector. Him, Ski, and Jim Lowe. Y'all came down to for Morgan Day. To see
it was for Morgan Day '92. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we was at his crib or something.
Yeah, it was you, Dano, Ruben.
Yep.
and I think later on I met Enoch and Black.
Right, they came down. They didn't come down in 92. They came down. I think Black and E came down when we was in Park Crescent, so like 93.
Oh, okay.
But you know, one of the funny things about that though is that so I decided to come to Morgan on that trip because so at Brooklyn Tech, Sherrod, Skiborn, Errol, rest in peace, E, Jim, right, and Rob Rice's brother Julio, they was all class of 91. They was all ahead of me, right? Sherrod wound up having to stay at Tech an extra year. Sherrod actually graduated with me, but he belonged in class of 91. So Sherrod was like the connecting piece between my crew, Magic Props, and the Minion, which was Ski Born in them, right? And like they was really like
they were already the Minion in high school. Not to cut you off.
I want to say I want to say they were Minion in high school. Yes, I want to say like Ski Born or one of those cats that watch this, they can clarify. But they were crew. They absolutely was crew. Errol, Gerald, who's Jim Lowe, Ski Born, Julio, Sherrod. They were crew. That was a team. And me and Sherrod, I used to call Sherrod Jerry G. That was my nickname for him, Jerry G.
Okay.
And me and Jerry G was mad cool. And then when he stayed back, like we really connected. And so he used to talk to us about Morgan because he used to go down there a lot because that was his people's. And so I only applied to 6 schools, man. And then my mother and father was like, yo, go down and visit. Like you could visit the schools that you got accepted to. Like I got accepted to Shaw, I got accepted to Howard, I got accepted to Hampton. So my first trip was to Morgan on that weekend. I came back home and I told my mother, I don't even want to see other schools. Like literally, I came down and Dre was there, Pooh was there. Now Dre was a legend in my high school. Right? He was a legend in my high school. Pooh Dollars, Gary Blair.
Yeah.
Was a legend in my high school.
Dre.
Yeah. Pooh was a legend in my high school. And so, you know, coming from Brooklyn Tech and coming down there and seeing like literally 25 tech nights that were family. Garth.
Yeah, y'all was deep. Tech was deep down there.
Yeah.
Man.
So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I gotta go here. I didn't even care about the other schools. I didn't even go visit nowhere else.
Why is Brooklyn Tech so famous, man? What's the big deal with Brooklyn Tech? You know what I mean?
So in New York City, you have specialized high schools, and that's kind of specific to this region. I know in other places they don't have the gifted and talented or the specialized program, but in New York City, you have what's called specialized high schools. And when currently there are 8 specialized high schools, but when we were in high school, there were only 3. Stuyvesant High School in Lower Manhattan, Bronx High School of Science in the Bronx, and then Brooklyn Technical High School. Brooklyn Technical High School sits right in Fort Greene, literally across the street from Fort Greene Park, right? And it has at its height, it was the largest high school in the entire city. When I went to Morgan State, there were more students in Brooklyn Tech than there were at Morgan State. Like when I left Brooklyn Tech, there was like 6,100 students. And Morgan State, when I got to Morgan State, it was like 5,800 students.
Damn, so that's a big ass high school. Wow.
Yeah, so you're talking about a high school that's a city block long, 8 floors high. And so I don't want to get too deep into it, but the gifted and talented program that feeds the specialized high schools, gifted and talented programs were in every district of Black and brown people, right? So I went to Satellite East, right? So I went to Satellite East, and like Ruben went to Satellite West, and Dan went to Philippa Schuyler, and all of those are gifted and talented programs. So in essence, when we got to Brooklyn Tech, all of us were coming out of gifted and talented programs. So we kind of like I knew Ruben from junior high school. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I got people I went to elementary school with that knew Dan from junior high school. So there was always like this bond already because we're in a specialized high school, but to get here, we had to come out of one of the gifted and talented programs. So then once we left high school and now we're at Morgan together, we're in a college environment. it's just a, like, you can't build a better bond. And so
Right.
Tech Knights have that bond because a lot of us Black and brown Tech Knights actually have connections that precede Tech. A lot of us went to junior high school together, or our friends went to junior high school with those people.
All right. So did you play sports in high school?
No, I didn't. I wasn't a sports guy. I really liked football, and I really liked baseball. And I was real good in baseball, but my family structure at the time was kind of like, it was like, so my father just passed away. He's not my birth father, but he raised me. Him and my mother got together when I was 10 years old. Right. So my father was a cop, NYPD, and he worked a lot. And then when he wasn't working, he was out in the streets. My father and my mother were like party like people, like they was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And so I didn't really have the structure that was conducive to me performing in sports. See, when you have a child in sports, you gotta like take that child to practice, make sure that child gets to, it has to be like that. And I come from a family that was really like, I don't like in the streets. Like my family, was at Junior's. Like I grew up in Junior's. Like Junior's is a restaurant in downtown Brooklyn. And like we had a table at Junior's, and like the bartenders knew me, all the barmaids knew me. So I say that to say my mom wasn't into playing sports, but I was real good. Like I was real good at baseball. I used to play Little League baseball, and like people was like, even back then I was good. But I was always into rap. I was always into rhyming. I was always into like tagging my name, buying albums. I used to have a record. In fact, in the room that I'm sitting right now, when I was a kid, I used to have a record player in here. And every time I got summer youth money from my job, I would go to Beach Street and buy records, and then come in here and just listen to Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul. So I was always into expression and seeing how people were being creatively expressive. That was my thing.
So growing up in the house, like what was like this, like the music soundtrack for you when you were like, little, 5, 6?
So jazz was a very big part of my upbringing. Disco was a very big part of my upbringing. R&B. My mother used to have a couch, and behind the couch, she had records that were almost the height of the couch. And as a kid, I just would go through all that stuff. Like there's a song I was playing today. I want you to Google this song. The artist is Buddy Miles, and the name of the song is Down by the River.
Okay.
I want you to Google that, right? And if you listen,
I gotta write that down.
That song was one of the songs of my early childhood that I really, 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 really loved. Mm-hmm. And on that album, that Down by the River, that song, the album that song comes from, do you remember the rap song Champion Love? I am the champion of love. Call me Champ Love. I am the champion of love. Call me Champ Love. Do you remember that song? It may have been just a Brooklyn song.
I think you named this a rap song that I don't even know.
I am the champion of love. Call me Champ Love. So
who was it by? Who was the artist?
I can't think of who the artist was. Okay. But it was like when we was in high school. But the reason why I bring it up is because on that same album, on that same Buddy Miles album, the sample for I Am the Champion of Love, Call Me Champ Love, that song used a Buddy Miles reference. So like even as a kid, like that was where my mom was working, like listening to music and realizing, oh, that sample is that. So, like realizing the progression of sound and music. Like that was really my shit. I was really a nerd when it came to things like that. Like I was the kid that wrote love letters. Like you hear people say that, right? And you think it's cliche, but I really was the kid that wrote love letters for dudes for their girls. Like, because I was very much into words and writing.
Really?
And yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm saying that because I'm really surprised. Shout out to Chris that just joined. Shout out to Kubani that just joined. There's a couple of Morgan heads in the building. Shout out to Miss Jones.
Shout out to Morgan.
2114. Shout out to my man Dixon. You know what I mean? Just
this gonna be a classic episode, man. Let's get to it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, it's funny that you say that because when me and you used to rhyme together, for those that don't know, we had a little rap group going on back in the
we had
day.
a couple rap groups.
Um, but yeah, the way that you would write, man, you know, it's funny that you say that because I could definitely see that, you know, in your verses, man. I remember you said something like, I wanna hold you like a Moshu garment or something like that. And yeah, I mean, remember that? What was the name of that store in Brooklyn?
Moshood. It's
Yeah,
Moshood. Yeah.
yeah. Is that still around?
Yeah. I'm actually so all right. So Moshood, when we was younger, 30 years ago, Moshood used to be downtown Brooklyn near Tech.
I remember they had
Moshood,
the live models that
the
was
live
standing
models,
in the
right?
window all day.
Right. So as fate would have it, Moshood is now in restoration in Bed-Stuy, and I'm
Okay.
currently the director of event services for restoration. So I work with Moshood all the time. I was
Yeah,
just talking to Baba today because I want him to come out and do some vending for me on Saturday.
yeah,
So it's funny because it's funny how full circle how you remember that line, because
yeah.
Moshood was really an iconic Black African fashion label when I was coming up. And
Mm-hmm.
so and they had, like you said, they had the live models. They was the first store that ever had the live models.
I never
And
saw that before, man.
wearing a Moshood garment in 90, 91, 92 was like, actually, they just celebrated their 27th year. So that means they were out in 94, which
Mm,
means we was already, so when I wrote that, they were brand new because they
mm-hmm.
started in 94. And so
Yeah,
it's funny, like when you mention stuff like that, it's just wild to see how things turn out. Because now me and Baba, who's the owner, like we're mad cool. I love him. He's a very positive spirit and impact in his community.
yeah. That's what's up, man. So you
Yeah.
mentioned working with that clothing company and working with the community, man. Tell the people some of the things that you that you're doing right now in your community. Because the reason, I had you on the show, like I said, I just want to give you your flowers and give you your props because I see the things that you're doing, and that's something I just wanted to, I felt like needed some light, man. But yeah, but just talk about some of the things
I
that you got
appreciate
going
that.
on, man.
So currently, like I said, I'm the director of event services for Bed-Stuy Restoration Corps. Bed-Stuy Restoration is the first community development organization in the nation. It was founded in 1968. Robert Kennedy and some others had a lot to do with its growth, but it's Black owned, Black operated. And we're nestled right in the center of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I came out of that working with the assembly members. So I was the special projects director for the New York State Assembly for the last year, working under the guidance of Assembly Member Stephanie L. Zinnerman, who I love. I think she's an amazing person. I've worked for the NAACP. It's crazy because people say, yo, I do a lot. I can't even tell you all the things that I do. So like
Right.
so I'm a DOE vendor, right? So I'm a vendor for the Department of Education. I have an urban ecology curriculum that I teach to second, third, fourth, and fifth graders.
Right. Now
So
talk about that too. That you got the garden going on. It's a lot, man. But I ain't cut you off. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So I have a hydroponics lab.
Yeah.
That we're growing, and actually we're about to harvest some stuff that we started in September. Wow. And then I have a school garden. I was just commissioned to work on 2 other school gardens. So I'm going to have 3 school gardens next spring. And I just do that because I grew up gardening. Like my father, in the backyard here, we would garden every summer, every spring, every summer. We would lay down, stuff. I would have to pull up weeds. And the funny thing about it is I hated gardening. Like I hated it.
Like
you
probably looked at it as a chore. Like
it was a chore.
The jewels in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a chore. It definitely was a chore.
Your pops was on some Mr. Miyagi shit though.
Yo, like when I tell you, we grew watermelons in the backyard. I live on Green and St. James in Clinton Hill. And in Clinton Hill, we was growing watermelons, grapes, cucumbers, tomatoes, and we would eat that shit. Like we would grow that shit and eat it. And so I think that I know that when you give a child an opportunity to grow something from seed to harvest, and then that child eats that thing, it creates a more compassionate child, a more empathetic child, a child that has a stronger connection to the earth and to the community. And so knowing that, I go out into the schools because, green and sustainability, these are touch points now that are hot. The green industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. right? But Black and brown businesses represent less than 0.1% of the businesses in the green industry. Why is that? How is that? So I try to do my part. I try to teach kids how to grow. So hopefully they connect to it the way I connected to it, even if they don't want to connect to it, because I didn't want to connect to it. I just connected to it, you know, because my father exposed me to it. So yeah, I do that. So I have, like I said, I'm going to have 3 gardens this spring. I have the hydroponics lab.
So for the people who don't know, what is a hydroponic lab, bro? Because I see you got like plants hanging in the air, suspended in the air on pipes, and you know what I mean. Explain what that is, though.
So it's very simple. Plants need 4 basic things to grow. They need sun, they need water, they need air, and they need the proper temperature, right?
Right.
The idea used to be that you needed soil to grow a plant, but you don't. With technology, you can grow a plant in a way where if you give the roots constant water that's nutrient rich, those roots will grow, and you can grow plant life without soil. And so that's what hydroponics is. Hydroponics is growing plant life without using soil. And so there's a whole thing to it. Like, so, you know, it's about the pH of the water. It's about the electric conductivity, meaning the nutrients. It's about nitrate. It's about phosphorus. It's about sulfite. It's a lot of it. A big piece of it is scientific, but at its root, you're growing plant life without water. I mean, without soil. You know, and that's what hydroponics is. And so I have a couple of different systems at the school. So we grow, like right now, I think we have 9 different types of plant life we're growing. We're growing herbs, we're growing vine stuff like tomatoes, and then we're growing like kale and Swiss chard. And the kids really love it. Like they love it. You know what I'm saying? They love it. There is no kid that's not gonna love watching plants grow. You know, so I do that. So then I have an event production company, Good People NYC. I've had that for like 11 years. And basically the goal with the event company is to marry community and culture and entertainment. I learned early on that from throwing parties, right? So being a promoter and throwing parties, what I realized is when you put all these people in a space, you got an opportunity in that moment to strengthen community. A lot of people don't see it like that, but if you put 400 people in a space, that's almost revolutionary, right? Like depending on what you tell those 400 people, you can really change the world in that moment. So I created Good People NYC as a way to program events in the community and to actually, you know, have the type of events that I would like to go to, you know, and that I think people would like to go to. And so we just had our biggest year in 2021.
Was that like the Feel Good Fridays event?
Yeah, the Feel Good Fridays, but then we've also done other stuff. Hold on one second. Come here. You want to be quiet? Okay. So we've also done other things, right? Like, you know, this past summer of 2021, we actually had 18 dates where we programmed stuff in the community, which was a bit overwhelming. When you think about it, I'm telling you, from Memorial Day to October 3rd, which is 5 months, we had 18 dates. So you're talking every like 2 weeks we were doing something. You cool? Okay. You want to let daddy do his work? Cool. Go lay over there. Look, go take that. Mickey, give him that thing to put on. My bad, those. I knew this was going to happen. But, you know, so I do a lot of stuff, right? But it's all one thing to me. What I really do is I just represent and serve my community. Really, that's, you know, I just do it any way that I can do it. Like last night, I hosted a non-for-profit. It was a non-for-profit organization that works with the elderly. And I hosted the event and I killed. They loved me, you know, but that's just me doing the things that I can do in my community. And that's, you know, I'm consistent in that way. Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys would have like shows and concerts. Tell us some of the, you know, some of the artists that you come out. So this summer I worked with Mr. C. I worked with Stretch Armstrong. I worked with Rich Medina. I worked with
Hard Hitting Harry, I worked with DJ CEO and DJ Reborn, who's Lauryn Hill's DJ. This summer, what I tried to do specifically was not do performances and just have DJs, because I didn't want to. It was two reasons. I'm be honest with you. The first reason is that what I found was that a lot of performers, because they didn't work during the pandemic, their cost was a bit high, right? Which is understandable, right?
Right.
If they ain't been to work all year, and so they wanted a little bit more to come out. But the second thing was, if you create a vibe with a DJ, people are more inclined to just be with themselves and less inclined to like do like what you see at Rolling Loud or these concerts, right? They're less inclined to like be jumping around and being around unfamiliar people. If you got a Stretch Armstrong playing and like we came as a crew, we all gonna be vibing, drinking together as a crew. And so I just thought that it was safer if this summer I just really stuck to DJs. And we really did some dope stuff. Mr. C is amazing for me. He's somebody that I've known for some time. And he's always a phone call away. Stretch Armstrong. I told you the story about Stretch. And I mean, we'll get to that, because I don't think we can have a conversation about anything that I do without talking about the team, right? And our team, the people that we rock with.
Well,
so Big Kev, big. So, yo, I got an amazing squad.
Right.
During the quarantine. So, you know, we family, Dan and his wife, Kai, Big Kev and his wife, Bridget, me and my lady, Sakina. During the pandemic, we were like a quarantine bubble because we all lived near one another. And at the time during lockdown, we would spend a lot of time like in Kev's backyard. And it was during the pandemic that I actually got the contract for Feel Good Friday. So, you know, we're planning, right? So we're like, okay, what are we going to do with this, right? The money's there, everything's right. What are we going to do? And so none of this I thought of alone. All of this was like a committee, like a
brainstorm,
like a brainstorm, right? We in the back, we drinking wine, and like Daniel mentioned something, Kev mentioned something, Kaisha mentioned something, and that's how we work. And so people see me a lot because I'm kind of like the front guy, you know, just because of who I am. But it ain't just me. Like, so with the Stretch Armstrong story, so Big Kev lives he lives in Bed-Stuy. I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna throw niggas blocks out, but he lives in Bed-Stuy, right? Yeah. So Stretch Armstrong lives like around the corner from him. So we're talking about this idea of just doing DJs this summer and just keeping a vibe and doing high level DJs and that sort of thing. And I had mentioned to Kev that I saw Stretch Armstrong in the neighborhood. I was like, yeah, I saw Stretch the other day. And Kev was like, yeah, he live around the corner. You need to step to him and tell him you want him to DJ. And I'm like, Kev, like, son, this is Stretch Armstrong. This is like the originals. Like,
right.
Like, he ain't gonna DJ on Tompkins Avenue for me. And Kev is like, nah, he's a real cool dude. Next time, you know how Kev talk, yo, son, next time you see him, yo, speak to him.
But I feel you, because Stretch Armstrong is from the originals with Clark Kent and
Rich Medina, D Nice. That number's high. Right? Yeah. That number's a high number. As luck should have it, 2 days later, I run into Stretch Armstrong again.
The universe.
So now I hit him with what Big Kev told me. I said, yo, you know, I'm doing this thing for the community and I really want you to take a part. It's happening right on the corner of your block. Like, it's a block party that's down Tompkins Avenue. And, you know, I ain't got what you would normally get, but, you know, let's talk about it. And he, just like Kev said, he was open. He was like, yo, bet. Yo, call me. Let's make it happen. He was leaving. He was going out the country to Amsterdam. He was like, yo, I'm going out the country. And when I come back, I'm ready to rock. Sure enough, when he came back, he called me. I didn't even call him. He called me like, yo, I'm back. I'm ready to rock. And the number that I paid him was well below what he would get. And he was happy with it because he could rock for the community. And here's the shit though, Gary. Stretch has a hand-finished speaker set. Like, it's a speaker box that's like wood and carved. Like, the shit is it's anointed. It's beautiful. He bought that speaker box to Tompkins Avenue. And when I tell you, I've never heard sound like this. Like it was almost spiritual. Like the stretch thing, I still think, even though I had an event October 3rd that brought out like 3,000 people, I still feel like the stretch event was the event of the summer in Brooklyn. Like, I don't think anybody did what we did on that Sunday. So yeah, what I'm saying is that, you know, Hip Hop Closet. So, you know, I work with Hip Hop Closet. We you know, that's Kaisha, that's Dan's wife. We about to do a karaoke this Friday, but we just constantly manifest. Like, we're constantly talking to each other. We have a group text that we type in every day, all day, manifesting what it is that we want to do in this community. So, you know, people see me, you know, because again, out of the crew, I'm like the one on the mic. I'm that guy. Yeah. But it's
face man.
Yeah, this shit don't come together without my team. This shit don't come. It doesn't do anything without my team. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You can't do shit without a team, man. But I like how you how you have that that group text with, you know, people giving, you know, affirmations and manifestations of what they want to do. Like, that's keeping like a how you say, keeping your tribe and your circle. You got to have people like that, because if not, man, you know what I mean, you kind of just out there on the island floating, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, we manifest heavy. Like, we want to get on a private jet as a group, like this year or next year. And so, like, people in the group text will literally put private jet quotes, pictures of us in Photoshop in private jets. Like, no, we really manifest. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see, like, in the next 6 months, we're going to be on a private jet, because that's the thing that we do. We manifest. And it's really good to have one of the things I be saying all the time is that I've been very blessed in life, because I've had everything that I needed at my disposal throughout my entire life. I never wanted for anything, right? Even in a time of lack, I still had everything that I needed. And so even in this moment today, everything that I need, I have, you know what I'm saying, at my disposal. Whatever I need is a phone call away, a text away. You know what I'm saying? The friends, I have just the right amount of friends. I don't have too many friends, and I don't have too little friends. I have just the right amount of everything that I need in life. And that's important, because I know that people don't have it as easy as that. You know, people can't say what I just said, but I've never lacked. And I'm in a position now where, like, anything that I want is available to me and available to us, you know. And so what, you know, I'm comfortable. I'm real comfortable. Yeah. Here come my other baby. You want to say hi? Come on, you can sit here. Just don't say nothing, okay? Say hello.
How you doing? What's her name? Mickey, right? Hey, Mickey.
Michaela. This is Michaela. This is Michaela.
All right.
She's 6, and then my boy Eli, he's asleep. He's 3. I love them. They're my babies.
All right. That's what's up, man. So you wrote a book a while ago. I don't know what year, man, but
2009.
2009. Blow One Down, man. How did this come about? And talk about the writing process, putting it together, man.
All right, so there's always 2 things I wanted to do in life. I always wanted to write a book, and I always wanted to run a marathon. That was it. That was the 2 things I wanted to do as a kid. Okay. Yeah, as a kid, as a child, I wanted to write a book and I wanted to run a marathon. So I've always been writing. You know, we used to rhyme, and we did a lot in that vein. 98, 99, I was living in DC, right? 2000, I come home, and Ruben put together a group of us to do a demo, to do some songs. Okay. One of the songs that I wrote in 2000 was a song called Downtown. The premise of the song was that I was living in DC, and I had beef in DC, and home was 4 hours away. So I had to handle it in DC. The song was 6 minutes long. I recorded the song and everybody was like, yo, we love it. It's a good song, but son, the shit is 6 minutes long.
It's too long. Yeah.
You can't
You
do
did have them
nothing
long
with it.
verses, man.
Right. Like they was like, yo, we can't do nothing with
That's
this. No
funny
one's
as
gonna
hell.
listen to it. So it just sat, right? So
Yeah.
now 2003 comes and I'm working as director of special events for a humanist organization. So now I got my own office, big office, way at the end of the hall. So a lot of times I would spend writing in my office, right? And so when I wanted, at that point, at 2003, I knew I wanted to write a book. So, you know, when you want to write a book, you got to figure out, well, what am I going to write? Like, what am I writing? Right. So what came to me was the story, Downtime, the rhyme. And so I listened to it because I still had it on CD. So I listened to it. And then I started picking out the story, what would become the book. So in 2003, I wrote a 96-page book called Blow One Down. I sent it to Dan and Kaisha, same team.
Same team, okay.
I sent it to Dan and Kaisha in 2003 and they read it and they was like, yo, it's good, but it's not enough. This can't be a book. It's not enough. It's set for another 3 years. And then in 2007, I picked it back up. And then I really, really, really worked on it. I had taken some classes at NYU on publishing and on creative writing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I learned some tools in those NYU SCPS, School of Continuing and Professional Studies. So I learned some tricks in that creative writing class that I took at NYU. So now when I pick it back up in 2007, now I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at it with a better lens. And so I take my time and I write it. The finished product is like 318 pages. It was finished in late 2008, but then I had to figure out how to get it published. And I went through the whole process of trying to get a literary agent. Again, nobody was fucking with me. Like nobody was messing with it. Finally, I self-published it in 2009. And we sold 3,500 copies of Blow One Down, which to me is a supreme victory.
Shout out to that, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, we did a damn good job with it. You remember we came down to Morgan for homecoming and we killed it at homecoming. We sold like 200 books and then we went to Howard homecoming. And
you had like a book signing or something down there, right?
Yeah. Derek Chase, shout to D Chase. He had me at the Velvet Room. You know, and so we was out there selling and it was a very empowering experience. I had never had product in the market that I created with my own mind. I had never did something like that. Yeah. The freedom, and I spoke about this recently. I was on a panel and I was telling, it was about like business ownership, like entrepreneurship. Right. I'm telling you, when you make money off of your mind, that's priceless. Like you can get a job and a job could pay you whatever you want to be paid, right? But to create something and then to finish its creation and then to put it into the marketplace and it sell and people like it, that's such an empowering feeling. Right. That it really catapulted my life. It's really changed. The book really changed my life in so many ways. People still buy this shit. I still get royalty checks. Right?
That's what's up though. I mean, that's why you did that.
Yeah, I still get
you'll eat off that for the rest of your life, man.
Now, I'm not eating off it. The checks is like $5, but
hey, still though, man, something better than nothing, brother. Hey,
yeah,
man.
I'm always gracious when one of those checks come in the mail. Yeah, so Blow One Down. I haven't written a full-length book since then, but I'm actually a contributing author in a book called Everybody Paddles that just came out last month. Oh, okay. Shout out to Charles Archer, a friend of mine named Charles Archer. He went to Lincoln University. He's the head of a nonprofit, and he is a specialist at leadership and how to build and grow leaders. And so he has this book series called Everybody Paddles, where he speaks to quote unquote leaders in the community. And you know, we speak about various things. So I wrote in this last book of his, I wrote an essay called Finding Purpose, where I talk about finding my purpose and how, as a parent, how can you raise kids that find their purpose? Yeah, so I still, but yeah, the blowing down, man, was crazy. Like, and it really, like, it catapulted me. It put me into a space where I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about the story real quick, because as I was reading this, I was like, you know, it takes place in DC, and I was telling you earlier, I was like, yo, when did dude spend time in DC, man? Because this shit is so vivid. It sound like you know, it sound like you was from DC, man. You know what I mean?
Right. So in '98, I was at Morgan from '92 to '95. I had my daughter Imani's a Morgan baby. So my moms and my father pulled me the fuck up out of Morgan.
I remember 95.
That. And when Imani was 3, I moved back to Maryland. I went to Hyattsville, Maryland. To this day, I can't tell you why I did it. I just moved. Like, I've always had a thing for Maryland. Like, to be honest, I'll move to Maryland tomorrow if the money's right.
I feel you.
I really like Maryland.
Any spot in particular, or
right now?
Any city in Maryland?
So I love Montgomery County. Yeah, I like Montgomery County, like Clarksburg, Germantown, Rockville, Bethesda, that side.
Okay.
But so in '98, I moved to Hyattsville, and me and my man Bezo, 2 Brooklyn dudes living in the ghetto in PG County. And I really connected with True and Salon, who was 2 brothers that we knew from Morgan State. Lom is, both of them dudes is dudes that I to this day are still, you know, my peoples. But they really took care of me when I was down there in DC. Like I was telling you offline, True, at the time, he lived in Oxon Hill and I lived in Hyattsville. So people that are from Maryland that are listening to this, they know the distance. That's like a 40-minute drive. Right. So he would drive. He had a Sentra. He would drive. I ain't had no car. I was living in DC with no car, dead ass broke. He would drive to pick me up in the Sentra. And then I would spend days, like I would spend the whole day with True, just riding around the city, right? Meeting people, dudes that he knew, chicks he knew. Lom the same way. I would be with Salam and we just be all over the city. Them dudes took me to, like, we used to go to Jasper's and like just all the spots, right?
Okay.
So when I sat down to write Blow One Down at its essence is a story about 2 young men who are not street dudes, but find themselves in a real street situation. And it goes into the whole thing about like being in college and being like a college drug dealer, right? And so there's a difference. There's a big difference from the streets. There's a fundamental difference in being a college drug dealer and being a real drug dealer. And so this book really speaks to that. And the inspiration for that really was my time being somebody who's not a street dude, being in DC, rocking with True and Salam, and being in some real street situations, like seeing real street shit. Yeah, so that's where it came from. And I was really true to it. Like, one of the things I love about writing is I get the opportunity to really build a universe. And I was very true to it. Like, I even put, like, if my character was driving from one place to another, I was putting the directions. He made a right on Euclid.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the shit that I was like, how he know this shit?
Yeah, like I was very true to it because I made those drives. I was out there. So yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah. Okay.
So you got any other books coming? I know you said you was working on one now.
Yeah, but, I got something because it's been a while and people hit me all the time like, yo, because at my essence, GNU, like I'm really just a writer. Like everything else I do, like I told you at the beginning of this, that everything is about creative expression to me. As a child, I would sit in this very room that I'm in. I'm sitting. So right now, like I told you, my father passed away. So I'm in what used to be his office right now. If you look above me, he's above me. That's his urn right there. Shout out to Pop Duke. He's with us. Right. So as a child, I would sit in this room and I would write and I would read. I loved reading as a kid. Like I loved books.
Me too.
And
man.
I would read and I would write and I would listen to music. Right. And I was about expression. And so when I was rhyming, I was about expressiveness. When I was promoting parties, that's a level of expressiveness because it's a story. It's an experience. You're building an experience. When I wrote the book, that's creative expression. Even all of my community work, every part of it stems from the need for me to express pieces of who I am in the real world. Right. Like the gardening is a piece of me. That's who I am, right? The event production piece, that's a piece of me. It's who I am. The public speaking, like I told you last night, I did the nonprofit. I hosted this nonprofit event. People are like, yo, like, how did you become so comfortable on the mic and speaking in front of people? Because I rhymed at Hill Fieldhouse. What are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about? I rhymed at I Love Morgan Day. I spit rhymes in front of hundreds of college students that didn't know who I was. So if you could do that, facts. If you can do that, right? And as a child, do that, because we were children. And if you believe it, if you're really that person, then you're really comfortable with exploring the possibilities of that skill set. And that's all I do. That's all I do in life is I just explore the possibilities of my skill set. Look at them, they sleep. Both of them are asleep.
That's what's up, though. She fell asleep.
I bet you ain't never had this on your podcast.
No, never had a child. This is a first. This is a first, man. Shout out to kids falling asleep on the GNU show. But yo, man, you mentioned that rhyming in front of Hill Fieldhouse. What was some of your memories of the things that we did? I remember we do a show downtown at downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, we did Townsend. So look, I want to explain to people who we were. We existed.
Let the people know, son.
Yeah, we existed in the time of Wu-Tang. Everybody just saw the series, right? A lot of us I'm 46, a lot of us that are around our age understand the impact of Wu at the time. So we didn't start out as a group. You was rhyming, Sean P and Bone was rhyming together, and I was rhyming, right? Double B wasn't really even rhyming. Me and you used to spit together because we spent a lot of time together. Because I spent a lot of time in you and Big Kev's apartment. But we knew Bone and Sean, and we was cool with them, right? And so when we got together, we started spitting, right? So a lot of times, what we said?
I said you was a problem too, man.
So you was a problem. Look, this ain't a demo or a promo. It's the Willy Bobo. It's slow mo. That was my shit, son. You killed that.
Yeah.
But so what happened was, at Morgan, there was a lot of spitters. Chaos, Beast. Remember Chaos? Chaos was a beast.
Yup. I remember Chaos.
Lot of spitters. So we got together because the blueprint of Wu-Tang already existed in its early stages. Not to mention we was cool with Rush. Remember Rush?
Hell yeah.
Right?
Wu-Tang
and
Rush.
Reggie Baskerville.
I was chilling with Reg at Homecoming.
Right. So we had Wu-Tang adjacent, affiliates.
We got into a lot of Wu shows with them cats.
Right. So what we did as a group is we got together and we just really partnered up and really we tore Morgan up for a minute. And we went, so you asked me what some of my favorite shows. The celebrity basketball game at Hill Fieldhouse is one of my favorite performances ever.
Was that with DJ Clue?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I had on Dan's polo jacket that had the hood on, and I had the Scully on, and I always thought I was Method Man anyway. Always thought I was Meth. And so, you know what I mean? I came out and we did our shit, and that shit, the Hill Fieldhouse was packed.
Yo, that's when we had the t-shirts, right?
Yes.
We had the shout out to Juju. We had a t-shirt with the man with no arms.
Yo, Hill Fieldhouse was packed.
Yeah.
And then so we rhymed, and then we took our seats. We went up in the rafters and sat down, and that was one of the best feelings Because as we was
Yeah.
walking through, niggas was like, yo, y'all did y'all thing, kid. Yo,
Yeah.
y'all did y'all thing. Yo, yeah, chicks
Yeah.
was like, yo, Marlon, oh my God, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was lit. It was lit. So that was one of Morgan Day when we opened up for Boot Camp Click. By that time, I had left Morgan. I came back down. That was in 95. I came back down to do that. And I actually, that weekend, I actually laid down the vocals for Ladybug, Silkworms, and Black
Ladybug.
Widows.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yup. Hell yeah.
Another classic joint.
Yup.
We performed at Towson one time and then had a riot afterwards. It was a wild fight afterwards. So we did a lot. Like we really, son, we did a lot. And we was like, we was fearless. And that's what you got to be in that moment, is you got to really be fearless. The only reason why I feel like we never took it to the next level is, again, going back to what I said about the reason why I didn't play sports as a kid is because I didn't have the proper foundation to be effective playing sports as a kid. My parents were into partying and drinking and smoking weed and, you know, making money. They weren't into like raising kids to be sports figures or even to play sports. And that's the same thing with us. Like we were all just doing it because we loved it, but we didn't have the proper foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about it sometimes because I remember TTC and them cats really having the foundation, but not the talent. You know what I'm saying? Like they had the foundation.
We went there. We was trying to fuck with them.
Right, but it didn't pan out the way that it should have. Yeah. Like sometimes ego and, you know, who you think you are versus who you think you are, you know, plays wrong. And I feel like, you know, like I did it. I know why I did it. I was doing it because I loved it. Like I love spitting a rhyme and seeing you guys react to it. Yeah, that meant everything to me when I was 19, 20 years old. Right. You know, but I didn't have the foundation to be effective. Shout out to
Walt, baby, love that just joined.
Shout out to Walt. Yeah. So I didn't have the foundation. So we didn't have the proper foundation, but that's okay though. Because I just feel like we didn't have
I just felt if we had like a beat machine, somebody that we had if we had equipment, I think we would have been all right because we would have been able to create together. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You know, I think about it a lot, but what I realize is I feel like we are exactly where we are supposed to be. And that's a good thing. And I feel like, because like I told you, everything that I take from the rhyming shit, I've matured in my life. Like the writing, I've matured. The performance, I've matured. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get rid of none of that shit. You know, I ain't get rid of none of that shit.
I still get, you know what
I'm saying? I still was writing rhymes. I be writing diss rhymes for fantasy football. Kev will tell you, like I be writing diss records and still performing them, making videos. You know, so I didn't get rid of any of it. And I think that it's honorable to say that that skill set matured, even doing what you're doing now. This is an example of a matured skill set.
It's an extension. It's a branch of GNU. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to talk real quick about Morgan State because I really love Morgan State and I really love the people that have entered my life and are part of my life as a result of Morgan State. I didn't realize when I was going there that this was a lifetime commitment. Like I didn't realize it. I was just a young kid getting high every day, you know, just trying to like, you know what I mean? Trying to be fly.
Living off the land.
Yeah, just living off the land, dog, just being fly. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do my thing. You know what I mean? Get with a couple of chicks, you know, smoke some L's. But in those moments, the connections are their lifetime connections. You know, like I'm telling you, like a lot of my life, a lot of my closer relationships, I'll say, revolve around Morgan State. And I did not know that was going to happen when I attended Morgan State. I didn't even think that was possible. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, because there was a time when we were together like every day. Every day we were together, man.
Every day we were together, dog. Me, you, Kev, Dan, and Sam.
What's up with Sam? Have you talked to Sam lately, man?
Well, no, I asked Dan about Sam some time ago. I think Sam lives in Rochester. Yeah, he lives upstate now. He lives upstate somewhere now. He's doing good though. When I asked Dano said he was doing good.
That's what's up. Shout out to my man Big Kelv and my man George, man, for Morgan. That's that's on YouTube. They said that I Love Morgan Day with boot camp was epic indeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we used to get on stage and wild the fuck out, B. Like we really did.
Word.
Like we really did. We really ain't have no, like we didn't have, like, because that's who we were at Morgan, because it was a lot of us.
Yeah,
it was always a lot of us. Like wherever we went, it was like 20 of us. I don't remember not going to a party with like 20 of y'all.
Right. Word.
That is empowering. And so when, you know, now I work in the community, so now I'm able to touch on some of that shit in real time, because like, I understand why young kids go to gang life. Why they go to gang life? Because they're protected in numbers, right? So because if you're not in a gang and you walk to the train station, you may get accosted by the gang. But if you're part of the gang and you walk to the train station, it's like 20 other dudes.
You
feel protected because of numbers. And that's how I felt at Morgan. I felt protected because of the numbers. Like we had a large group of tribe. We had a large tribe.
Yeah.
And dudes wouldn't fuck with us because they knew you had to fuck with all of us.
There's a lot of us.
There's a lot of us.
Word.
You know?
Word, man. So you mentioned the number 2 thing that you wanted to do in life was running the marathon. So now you've ran in the marathon, bro. Like how many times have you run in the NYC marathon?
3. This year should have been the 4th, but I deferred.
Really?
Yeah, I deferred this year.
But I know you've been running, man. So
I've run tons of races.
So what prompted that? Because in school, you know, you weren't doing that. So when did that come about, bro?
It really from childhood. So when I was a kid, I grew up near where the New York City Marathon would run.
Okay.
And as a kid, me and my sisters would go out there on marathon day, and we would like stick our hands out and try to get runners to slap our hands. And as a kid, I was fascinated by the fact that these people decided to run 26 miles. It seemed impossible as a child. And so it was something that was always in my mind. I wanted to experience what it was that they were doing. And so when I was 30 years old, I started this journey. I started running. When I first started, I couldn't even run a mile on a treadmill. But I just kept at it, and I kept at it, and a mile went to 3 miles. And then after I got to like 4 miles on the treadmill, I went out in the street, and then I started running in the street. Like 2006, 2007, I started running in the street. And I've run dozens of races. I've completed 3. So this is the thing. I started running at 30. It took me 12 years to run my first marathon. But it was because I don't want to say I was scared, but I was intimidated by it. Even into my 30s, I was intimidated by the marathon. My running mentor passed away October 8th, Patrick Burnett. Pat ran 50 marathons in his life, maybe more.
Wow.
Like he's the type that would sneak marathons.
Wow.
But he was someone in my community.
How you sneak a marathon, bro?
Like, Pat, look, Pat, funny as shit, Pat ran, there's a marathon in upstate New York called the Wine Glass Marathon. Okay. When you finish the race, you get a wine glass. He ran the marathon because he wanted the fucking glass.
Wow.
And he told me, he was like, nah, I wanted the glass. Like I wanted the wine. How do you run a marathon for a wine glass? Like that was the type of dude he was. He was very much a runner. And so he taught me everything I knew about the game. He kind of took me under his wing, you know, and showed me the mechanics of it, and, you know, taught me about the consistency of it. And then one day we was at a brunch, and him and his girl and me were at a brunch, and we were talking, and they was like, yo, you ready? You're going to run a marathon this year. And that was early 2017. And I ran it in 17 with him. I ran it in 18 with him. I ran it in 19 with him. The pandemic happened in 2020, and he passed October 8th, 2021, or I would have run this year with him as well. He meant everything to me in terms of a runner. And what I really learned so much about myself through running. Like you learn a lot about yourself when you leave your comfort zone. Yeah. When you put yourself into an uncomfortable position, you will undeniably learned some shit about yourself. And running taught me a lot about myself. You know, like really, it really matured me more than probably any other component in my life. The running really taught me a lot about myself, and I love it. I'm going to run till the day I die. I'm going to run marathons every year that I can. You know, but I didn't run this year because it was just too much. I lost my father in August, and then I lost Pat in October, and I really didn't train well because it was an overwhelming year, because in part of a lot of blessings. Like I said, this was the busiest year for my event production company. And at the same time, I'm dealing with losing my father, you know, so it was a lot. It was a lot. Like I really, you know, to put it as transparent as possible, I felt very tired until recently. Like I was mentally and emotionally exhausted until recently, like literally until like 3 weeks ago. But I felt great when I went out to the marathon, and I was a spectator this year. This is the first year I was a spectator.
Shout out to Al Booth, man.
Yo, Alan Booth is a fucking beast, dog. I love Alan Booth, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I went out and I watched it, and it made me feel good to support the runners. So it, like, you know, again, everything in its time and place. And I think I needed this break in order to come back and be what I need to be as a runner and as a man. But yeah, Alan Booth murdered it. Alan Booth has run like 7 marathons.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but Alan Booth has run more marathons than me. Absolutely.
Really? Damn, that's right.
Yeah, I may have run more races. I may have run more races than him. Because for a long time I was doing half marathons, a lot of half marathons. Because
I'm like, I know you did it more than 4 times. Okay.
Yeah, a lot. I was doing a lot of half marathons. So I may have run more races than Booth, but Booth has definitely run more marathons than me.
So what's your process though? I mean, you know, how do you train, and what's your diet and all that kind of shit when you're, you know, preparing for a marathon?
So the marathon training is a 4-month process. You don't really have to alter your diet because you're putting up so many miles that you're burning calories. You know, so diet is really not as much of an issue. But what I really do well in terms of training is working on technique. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", 215, 220 pounds. So that, you know, having good mechanics is everything for me. So, you know, running 3-4 days a week, doing a long run on your weekend. So like waking up on Tuesday and running 5 miles, running 5 miles on Thursday, then running like 10 miles on a Saturday. It's a numbers game, and it's a consistency game. Like I said offline, I don't know if he was on or not, but so Stick from Dead Prez is a friend. He's somebody I actually worked on. He's about to come out with a book, and I worked on his pitch for his book. I worked with him on his pitch. And so him and I had a lot of conversation. He's a runner. And so he has the RBG Fit Club, right? You heard of that, RBG?
Yeah. I follow Stick.
Right. So he has 5 pillars of fitness. And one of the pillars is consistency. And what he says is that consistency is the most important part of life, because anything you do at a consistent level, you become a master at it over time. So even the negative things that you do consistently, you become a master at it over time.
Wow, I never thought about that. You master the negative shit you do too.
Yes, you master the negative shit. Absolutely.
Wow.
So being consistent in running is probably the most important thing, because it don't get easier. Like people think it get easier. Like lifting weights gets easier, right? So like if you try to lift 200 pounds today, you may not be able to lift it, but if you keep trying, in a couple months, you're going to be lifting it. Running is kind of like that, because the more you run, the further you can run, but it don't get no easier.
Right. So you're saying like your legs are still going to be sore as fuck and all that kind of shit. All that's going to be going on. Yeah.
The process of running miles is the same.
Yeah.
What changes is your ability to perform in uncomfortable situations. You're not going to grow. And I'm going to say this again, bro. You're not going to grow in life if you can't perform in uncomfortable situations. You're not. How can you? Because everything that you've never done before is going to be uncomfortable the first time you do it.
That's a fact.
You know, so running is a testament to that. And running is dope, man. I love it. I'm like I said, I'm a run forever. You know.
No, no
Hold on 1 second, because as my babies sleep, they starting to like. Hold on.
No, you good.
Get your feet off him. Get your feet off him.
Oh, both of them. I didn't realize both of them was sleeping.
Yeah, dog. They both on me. Come here.
Yo, shout out to my brother Jeezy that just joined. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's watching right now, showing love. Don't forget to hit that like button. Since we got all these people in here watching, hit that like button, hit that heart button on IG. You know what I mean? Wow, I did not realize that you had both of them sitting on your lap. So talk about fatherhood, man. Like, you know, I remember you became a father early at Morgan State, man. And it was like soon as like, you know, it was going down, your mom's was like, come on out of here, man. How did that change you, or did that like mold you and change your focus on life? Did you start taking life more serious? And you know what I mean? When
so
you
what I'll say is this. The father that I was to Imani is not the same father that I am to these two. And that's not a bad thing. That's supposed to be, because I'm 20 years older.
And you sound like growth.
Right. Having Imani really showed me what fatherhood looked like and what the connection between father and child was. But I was still pretty much a child myself. Like, we laugh about it now, but I would have Imani at Delasi's age. I would have Imani in my apartment with 20 other niggas blowing trees and passing her around while I'm smoking the L, she on Big Kev lap. Then Big Kev give her back to me while I'm smoking, right?
Uncles.
Right, with all her uncles. She would be with my moms in the street and she'll see Big Kevin. She'd be like, yo, hey, Big Kevin. My mother was like, yo, who is that? Like, yo, who she saying hi to? I'm like, nah, ma, that's my homeboy.
That's funny.
So that was how Imani was raised.
Okay.
Michaela and Delasi are not raised that way. They have a much more orderly environment. You know, there's not 20 niggas in my crib. You know, there's no, you know, weed being passed around or drinking like that. So they have a much more orderly environment, and they actually have more of my attention, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. I mean, you were younger then. You know what I mean? You as you age, you get more focused. You know, as to what's the more important things in life. You know what I mean?
That's what I'll say. I'm happy to be their father. I'm honored to be their father. But the thing about it is that at 46 and having young children, it really will keep you young. Because I think about mortality a lot, especially since my pops passed. Like, I think about being here for them and how do I stay around for them for a long time? Right. How do I stay in their lives long enough for them to be old enough and mature enough to not need me? You know, so yeah, but I love it. You know, these two they're gonna sleep. They don't sleep in their own beds. They sleep in my bed. You know, when I have them, you know, because I'm divorced from my ex, and so, you know, we split custody with them. So when they're here with me, they have my undivided attention. Obviously, because I'm doing a podcast and they sleep.
Nah, you know? It's all good, man.
Yeah, it's you know, again, I keep going back to this, but I'm really who I say I am, and I think that that's a gift. That's something that is authentic, and that's something that people really like. They feel in me is that I'm who I say I am. Like, you know, you're gonna get what you get, you know, from me. You know, and so people know I love my babies. These two be at all my events. This one here goes shopping. I be having events with vendors. She comes back with purses. And lipstick, you know what I'm saying? And this one here be on stage with me. So they're getting a glimpse of life from a bird's eye view. Like, they're getting a chance to see community in action. You know, if you ask my daughter what I do for a living, she'll tell you, Daddy works for the community. And she's right. She's absolutely right. You know, so it's a blessing to have them. You know, even though they get on my nerves. You heard me screaming at their asses before we got on.
That's a part of parenting, man. But look, they sleep now, so you know. But that's a beautiful picture right there. I'm glad we getting this,
Is
man.
it? Snapshot that.
Shout out to the black fathers out there, man. This is what fatherhood looks like, man. I'm liking that, man. I'm liking that, bro.
Fatherhood looks like.
So what you got any future events coming up that you want to promote or let the people know about?
Look, if y'all are in the 5 boroughs or Jersey, you want to come to my karaoke event, Hip Hop Closet, Suite 607. We do karaoke like no other.
All right, I've seen the clips, bro. They be lit.
We get
bro.
so lit. And we be having like icons. Like I did 10 Crack Commandments with Milk D from Audio 2.
I remember that too, bro. Yeah.
Who has a better life than me? I did 10 Crack Commandments with Milk D.
Yeah.
So we really have a good time. So the link is going to be in the bio of the IG page, Suite 607, SUITE 607. So if you're interested in coming out and having fun with us, that's this Friday. I got a lot going on. I can't even begin to tell you. Only thing I can tell anybody that's listening is to follow my IG, Marlin Rice.
All right. Well,
because there's going to be a lot happening. Yeah, there's going to be a lot happening between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then we're going to move to 2022 and really do some real big things. And it's all community based. It's all like I do things so that your kids could come, your parents could come. You're going to get drunk. You're going to laugh. Ain't going to be no fighting. Ain't going to be no violence. It's, something that's well curated. And so we're going to do a lot of that stuff. I'm looking to put out a book first quarter of 2022, God willing, because it's been a while. It's probably not going to be fiction. It's probably going to be nonfiction because I really want to get some stuff off my chest. And we'll see, man. I'm just in a space of peace, dog. Like, I just want to do things that keep order and keep peace in my life. Whatever the team decides, when we go back to Kev's backyard or to Dan's basement, whatever the team decides to do, then that's what we're going to do. And again, shout out. I can't, like, I wish they were here. Like, I wish we had them on the Zoom. Dan, Kai,
okay. Well, maybe
Kev,
next time we can set that up. We can set that up.
Like that's my team, man. That's the board. We call our connection board meetings. Like when we get together and get drunk, it's a board meeting.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Word, man. The podcast nobody listens to said your crew was everything at Morgan. Salute.
Yeah, we were.
COA, characters of the abyss.
COA, right. We was everything.
Word. So yeah,
like
Deuce, man. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, I really took that shit for granted. Like, I really took it for granted because I came down to Morgan and I immediately had 60 brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes like
you already
Kijo.
Had status too. Like, you was already like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kijo, look, the first night me and Dan was on campus. Me and Dan is walking on campus and some dude from Philly says something slick. We see Kijo, Big Kev, and Fred. And we mentioned to them that something, you know what I mean? Like, this kid was looking at us. It wasn't even nothing major because we would have washed the kid ourselves, but we just mentioned it. Kijo walked back with us to Cummins and put wild pressure on this kid. And that was my first night at Morgan campus. Is I got dudes that's ready to, go crazy over anything. So I really took for granted that. What happened?
And I said, we used to call Kijo Bishop.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Kijo. I just connected with him on Facebook again, man.
My God.
And he's doing his thing. This motherfucker is like doing jujitsu and shit. Like,
yeah, I saw that. on Facebook real quick.
Yeah, dog. Yeah. So again, it's just growth and maturity. I love seeing that in my brothers, man. Like,
we got some amazing dudes in our crew, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Amazing cats, man. But anything that you guys have coming up, man, or anything that you want to promote, man, I want you to know that you always got a home here, bro. You always got a home here on the GNU show, man.
I appreciate that.
What I mean?
Appreciate that. Yo, you really need to do a COA reunion, and not just the rappers, but like Ski Daddy, Juju, like Dan.
Yeah, we had a Zoom last Friday. Big Jeff was in there. Kashim was in there. I was expecting like Big Kev and regular cats, but Big Jeff was in there. I was like, damn, I haven't seen Jeff in years. But we need to just
combine all of that and really just have a conversation, man, because it's some big shit. It's definitely there.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you again, man, and salute you for coming on the show, bro.
I appreciate that. I can't believe I got through this with 2 kids on my lap.
Hey, that's what's up, man. You know, that's like I said, that's a blessing, man. The kids, they just made the show, they just made it that more wholesome, you know what I mean? That more righteous, you know what I mean, and pure, you know what I mean? Word.
And I'm gonna put their asses to bed.
Yeah, they sleep already, man.
Yep.
So like I said, man, I want you to stay on, man, but I'm going to end this live right here. I want to thank everybody for watching the show tonight. Like I said, continue following the journey, hit that like button, leave a comment. And yeah, I want to thank y'all for watching the Guy GNU show, y'all. Peace.